Hello and welcome to Healthy Mind, Healthy Life with your host Avik. This podcast is all about exploring the latest research, sharing personal stories, and providing personal tips for improving our mental health and well-being. Each episode will be joined by experts in the field of mental health, as well as individuals who have experienced the transformative power of a healthy mind firsthand. Together, we will dive into a range of topics from managing stress and anxiety to building resilience and cultivating happiness. So, join us on this journey to discover new ways to take care of our minds, bodies, and souls. And let's work together to create a healthier, happier world one episode at a time. So, let's get started.
Hello and welcome back to another illuminating episode of Healthy Mind, Healthy Life. I'm your host Avik, and today we are joined by an extraordinary guest who has journeyed through the highs and lows of life, emerging as a beacon of wisdom and light for us all. So please join me in welcoming Birgitta. So welcome to the show, Birgitta.
Hi, Avik. Thank you so much for having me.
Great. So before we start delving deep into our conversation, I would love to mention this to all of our listeners that Birgitta is a soul empowerment coach, divine channel, and light language healer. So her mission is to deliver messages from the realms beyond, guiding humanity towards a profound awakening to the essence of life itself. So her journey has been a mosaic of experiences, weaving together the tales of resilience, transformation, and an unwavering commitment to authenticity. So with a profound knowledge of ancient wisdom, she's embraced her role as an inspirational channel, illuminating paths of healing and the self-discovery. So hailing from Netherlands, her adventurous spirit has led her across continents and diverse roles. So from being a model, bartender, and healer to designing jewelry, teaching holistic workshops, and even conquering the demanding corporate world, she is a true embodiment of the versatility. So, but her journey has not been without its challenges, definitely. So her life story reads like a composition of light and shadows encompassing experiences that have tested her strength and resilience. So from childhood trauma to loss, abuse, and battles with inner demons, she is courageously weathered life storms, emerging as a testament to the human spirit ability to endure and transform. So through her experiences, she embodies the essence of embracing life's symphony, dancing even when the music is bittersweet. So her journey from a sponge-like absorber of energies to a boundary settler and like healer is a testament to the power of self-discovery and the growth. So join us as we journey through the tapestry of her life, exploring the highs and lows that have shaped her into the radiant light she is today. So through her words, we'll glean insights into the unlocking our own potential, embracing our authenticity, and reclaiming the gems hidden within our experiences. So once again, I'll welcome Birgitta to the show. Welcome again, Joe.
That was beautifully put, Avik. I love that. That was powerful.
Great, thanks. So, the journey has been a remarkable one. So, marked by both adversity and the transformation. So, if you can share a moment or maybe the experience that led you on the path to embracing the authenticity and healing from your past traumas.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. We all go through adversity, and that's okay. The thing is, I will say this: it's not what is happening to me, right? Because that's that victimhood that we remain in. Why is this happening to me? Why? Rather than saying, what is it doing for me? And then you reevaluate, and then you take that responsibility for whatever you're going through at that point in time. Now, whether that is by no fault of your own, it's still, you are responsible for your own life. You're the captain of your own ship. Now, for me, as you've said, yes, I've been through childhood abuse. So a friend of the family in Kuala Lumpur. My dad passed away when I was 14 of coronary heart disease. He was only 44. I was bullied in high school. It was terrible, but I had strange fear of teenage boys because of what happened to me in my youth. I was starving myself, even though I sat down at the dinner table, but I would just chuck away my lunch. I was assaulted in the modeling industry. God knows why I even took that path, because do you know what it was for me at that point? Because I was so invisible and I wanted to be invisible. But after school, I was like, but I really want to make something of my life. And I thought, well, maybe the modeling was a good idea because I could show people that I could really make something of myself. Oh, jeepers creepers. Seriously. I mean, the whole modeling industry is a cattle market. I mean, it is so degrading. It was so degrading for me. I mean, I felt so insecure about myself. I felt worthless because you go there and I didn't get any jobs. I mean, I got them because at the time, especially in New York, because I traveled a lot, I used Craigslist. So I got jobs that were either for prints or I got paid a little bit, but it was all right. So that's how I did it, but I could never live of it. That's why I always had a corporate job. But because I was so messed up in my head, I rolled into beautifully disastrous relationships. They were so dysfunctional because I was dysfunctional. And it was like, Avik, it was like, oh, it said on my forehead, I'm a broken bird looking for another broken bird to fix and to refurbish. But that's not the way it should be, because the most important relationship to have, first and foremost, is with ourselves. But we don't see that. We like to deflect rather than reflect. And that's why I always had fixer-uppers. But I asked for these experiences. I really, really did. Because the thing is, without everything that happened in my life, I would not be who I am today. So how can I not be grateful for that? I am so thankful for everything that happened to me. Even when I was abused in my childhood, because if it wasn't, I still wouldn't be who I am today. And I've had to heal that. But that healing came so many years later.
I understand. I really understand. So, from here, one more thing is coming. From many people struggle with the finding their authentic selves with this life's challenges. So what advice would you offer them who are seeking to reconnect their true essence and the purpose, especially during or maybe after experiencing those difficult times?
Yeah. So there are always questions that I get asked. Well, why am I here? That's first of all, if you look at well, you're here to remember who you are. You're here to return to a love for yourself and others, because life is merely a return to love, nothing more, nothing less. And you're also here to understand that you are a divine alchemist. You're here to manipulate the energies because you are energy, but many people don't see it that way. It's like, we're this organic blob and that's it. But that's not true. It's just that we have deviated so far from our awareness. But when you go through anything traumatic, you need to sit with yourself and ask yourself, why am I feeling this way? Don't deflect, as I said, reflect within. And rather than reacting, stop doing that. Because what you're doing is you're giving your power away, and that's what happens with so many people. They walk around in this state of disempowerment, and then they wonder why they suffer from so much dis-ease. I always call it dis-ease rather than disease, because it's a dis-ease within ourselves. So sit with the emotion and ask yourself, how can I respond differently? What can I do? Is there something that I need to heal? Can I do this myself, or do I reach out to someone? And many people, I don't understand this, because I don't have all these labels of shame and fear anymore. Oh my gosh, I was riddled with it. I was riddled with anxiety. But I don't have that anymore, because I also sit with the emotion and I think, what, how am I going to react? Can I see this from a different perspective? How is this serving me? And if I need to get some healing, I will do that, because it doesn't matter. We're here to progress and to develop and to understand our experiences, because our experiences are not meant to beat us down. They're meant to help elevate our awareness, and so that we get a better understanding of our lives. And when we heal, when we alchemize these experiences, rather than keeping them in the archives of our mind, we see life differently, and the energy within us changes. So when we change our inner world, our outer world also changes.
Lovely. So, like, from healing and the self-discovery,
Yeah.
the central themes in your journey. So, if you can elaborate on the importance of the processes in your life and how they have contributed to your transformation.
So are you talking about the experiences and then?
Yeah.
So this was back in, I think, like 2009, where I really hit rock bottom. I mean, it wasn't the first time, it wasn't the last time, but it was a turning point where I met someone from the US. I'm still in touch with him. He's doing very well for himself now. He's turned his life around. And I love seeing how people, come out from the dark night of soul and just changing their lives. But at the time, he was a drug addict. I didn't even know that. He came to live with me in Holland at the time, where I was living in The Hague. And just because I had had my stint with drugs when my stepdad passed away in 2000, and I nearly killed myself because I was just distraught, and there was nobody that helped me at the time. But one day I just woke up and I was like, no, this is not serving me. And but seeing someone with crack hands and just not able to overcome his demons, even though in Holland he wanted to go to a clinic, to rehab, but they refused to accept him because he didn't have a social security number for Holland. And I was I was really trying to help him. And in actual fact, Avik, it was really, he needed to help himself. And I needed to help myself, because I was stumping his own growth as much as I was stumping my own, I was stumping his growth as much as I was stumping my own growth. We often don't see that, but people need to be able to walk their journey and, go through their own experiences and walk through the dark night of soul, so to speak. But that was a real turning point for me, because he was in bed with the Dutch Crips. And he stole something from them. They held him for ransom. I did help the police, and I actually saved his life, because they found him and they deported him back to the US. But what happened was, my mom took me out of Holland in the space of like 3 days. She moved me, and I had a place in the UK, so that I paid for all that, so that was fine. But when I got there, it was like, the leader of the Crips in Holland called me and said, if I ever find you, I am going to kill you, because I'd saved his life. I saved my ex's life. And he's like, if ever I will find him, you will never find him again, because he'll be lying dead somewhere in a ditch. And that just, I was just, you know what I did? I mean, it was a very lame attempt at my own life, but I took a whole box of ibuprofens, and all that did was relieve my headache. And now I had like 12 hours sleep. And then I woke up the next day and I thought, I cannot go on like this anymore. I really can't. I was at such a low. I was so skinny. And my mom said to me, Birgitta, why don't you go and see a counselor? I did, Avik, and that didn't help me, because all the counselor said after I'd told her the whole story, like, Birgitta, you'll be fine. You know, you're strong enough. What am I going to do with that? That's not counseling.
True.
And so I had to figure out how to move forward. And I followed the holistic route, and I found a Reiki practitioner. And actually, that was my saving grace. It really, really was. And I remember her telling me, Birgitta, why do you allow people to treat you like a doormat? You're not here to save the whole world and slay everyone's demons. You're here to help heal yourself. And it took me a while to understand that. But I mean, I also studied Reiki, not in the space of a weekend as it's done these days, but it took me level 1 and 2. It took me about 1.5 years. And it helped me so much. And from that point on, I studied many other healing modalities. I was really like a SpongeBob, just absorbing that, because I wanted to change. And I think sometimes we really have to hit the bottom of that rock, as I always put it. And from that point on, the only way you can go is up.
I know. I can understand. So, like, your work as a soul empowerment coach and light language healer involved guiding the others towards their own healing and the empowerment. I know it can only be done if you yourself have survived and gone through those situations. So what are some of the common challenges or misconceptions you have encountered among those you have coached, and how do you help them navigate those hurdles?
Oh, I have many different things. So, because I also studied EFT, the emotional freedom technique, which is very, very powerful, simple technique, but it works because you tap the emotions out of your system, so the triggers are gone. Okay. And oh gosh, I've had people come to me that have suffered from alcohol abuse, so to speak. People with childhood issues, abandonment issues, anxiety. A lot of anxiety within people, toxic relationships, and it just depends. Especially with light language healing, I'm always very humbled when I do it. But it's amazing to see the results. That with someone, the fear was gone. She had to go into hospital the next day, and had to have surgery. And she said to me after that, she's like, you know what? I just went in. No fear, nothing. Went in for the surgery, and she's like, I went home. And other people have completely turned their lives around. But remember, regardless, I'm just a tool in the toolbox. That's what I always say. Now, whether people utilize the tools and work on themselves, that's a whole different story, because at the end of the day, I can only do so much. They're still responsible for how they continue with their lives. But others have decluttered their whole home, started up their business. I've had a friend of mine, she's crossed over now. She was afraid of slugs. Oh my gosh, she would squeal at them, literally squeal, especially after the rain. She would just cross the street, and she was really proud to stay at the time. She's like, oh my God, I just walked past a slug. No issues. So it's a very broad, it's very, very broad, but yeah, I'm always very, very humbled. And when we talk about being a soul empowerment coach, it's really about empowering individuals and back to the grid of their own soul. So often when we walk through life, we're not aligned with who we are. We don't feel comfortable in our own skin. We just don't. And that's what it's all about, being comfortable in your own skin. healing the fragments that have lodged within our mind and within our energy field, and just allowing others to walk their path. It's all about helping others and inspiring others.
Exactly. I know. So, in terms of authenticity, the power of
Yeah.
authenticity. So is the theme that resonates strongly in your own journey. So
Yeah.
what does being authentic mean to you? And also, how can individuals overcome those societal pressures to be their true?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, good point. Good point. Oh my gosh. So authenticity, yes. People, I mean, Avik, that word gets thrown around a lot. And let's face it, right now I am my most authentic self. But there's always work to be done. I am a work in progress, just like everyone else. I'm not perfect. I'm still flawed. I'm still learning. But if I look back at even a year ago, I'm a completely different person, because I believe in progression and development. I really, really do, because we're all onion layers. We're like an onion. And every time we go through something, we peel back the layer until eventually we come to the center, to the core, and being our most authentic selves. I'm not completely there yet, but I do speak my truth, but in a loving way. And it's about dissipating the ego, because many people come from the ego. And not that that's a bad thing, because we have to learn through duality. That's why, that's why we're here. We've got to learn it. And, but it's, for me, I react very differently, because I understand that everyone vibes at a different level of consciousness, and that's okay. You don't have to, you can accept whatever people say, but you don't have to take that. You don't have to take that on board. And a lot of people do that because we get judged. People have opinions. And when we talk about also societal pressures, it's not just that, it's also social media. It's just the way the whole world was built. And I always say Terra means earth. Gaia as well, but Terra is earth. And we live in this terrarium. It's like we've all been plonked in this terrarium, trying to figure out how to get out of that. And the only way we're going to do that is by alchemizing our experiences. But with social media and societal pressures, it's all that deviating away. It's trying to deviate away from our awareness. And so I'm not the biggest social media buff. I know it's a necessity, but people just scroll endlessly. When you walk on the street, or you're in a bus, or anywhere in public transport, but even people in the car, what are they on? Their phones. Always their phones. What if you were to take that away from them? If we go back to the 1980s, Avik, even the 1990s, where we didn't have mobile phones, we just had a landline. We had that heart-to-heart communication, rather than this very distracted communication where people have no understanding that we are all one. And we live in this I call it very fragmented society. But many people are waking up, though. Many people are starting to understand more about life, and choosing to heal and move forward in life and making something of their lives. So being authentic is really about rinsing out, as the Ascended Masters always say, it's like rinsing out the conditioning. Yeah. And being this unconditioned, it's being this unconditioned version of yourself, and just being true to yourself. And yeah.
Exactly true. That's true. So, like you also mentioned that life is like the sound of music, and
Yes.
you must dance before the music stops. So, Could you share a personal anecdote or reflection on how you have learned to embrace life's rhythm and live
Yeah.
fully in the present moment?
Well, yeah, I had to go through life's experiences and a lot of trauma. I mean, it didn't just stop in 2009. I mean, there was more trauma in 2014, 15, 16. And yeah, and that's where I actually learned to channel as well. But yeah, you've got to live your life rather than allowing yourself to be lived. And that's where just before we went live, where I was saying, people are so stuck within the system, and it's all about paying their bills and trying to make a living. But you need to see life from a different perspective, because our soul was not designed to live this way. It's really about returning to that love for ourselves and following our passions. And I wish people would do that more. And it took me a long time to realize that as well. Although I've always done stuff that I wanted to do, it's just that I attracted, the broken birds, like I said, because I was broken, but I'm thankful in the end. And for me, the next move is to get to Spain, and that will be later this year. And I've planted that seed. But if you want to manifest something, then you have to envision it like that it's already there. You've reached the end goal. And people are like, yeah, but, no buts. Do you know what holds people back? Fear. Fear is the biggest criminal mastermind, in our heads. But we create what we think, and thus we manifest it. We build it accordingly. And I think if people understood that they are far more powerful than they're led to believe, their mindset will change. Because it's very simple. If you want to get somewhere, it's all about shifting that mindset. Change your thinking, change your life. That's quantum mechanics for you.
Lovely. That's a great thing. And also, like, before we wrap up, like, for those who may feel stuck or overwhelmed by life's challenges, so what practical steps or the mindset shifts can help them begin their journey towards embracing the art of living and returning to their authentic nature?
Well, first of all, it's all about taking responsibility for your life. Take that accountability, take ownership.
Yeah.
Because you're the only one. I mean, you're the only soul within your own body. But other things that have helped me along the way are meditation. Meditation is very, very powerful. And if you're just starting out on your meditation journey, then I would advise you to listen to either Caroline McCready on YouTube or David G. And David G has all these 20 to 25-minute meditations on overcoming your fear, your anxiety, owning your power, owning your life. And all you need to do is plug your earphones in and just follow the guided meditation. And I do this now, again, every morning and every night. And even though I don't always have to listen to a guided meditation, because I was in the Art of Living Center in Bangalore quite a few years ago, and I loved it out there. And it was all about absolutely the art of living, but it's also the art of breath.
Yeah.
And many people only breathe up to here, and that's shallow breathing, rather than breathing all the way down to the root chakra and then holding that for like 4, and then breathing all the way to the crown chakra, holding it for 4, and then breathing out again. But the breath is really, really important. And it also oxygenates the whole of your body. So that's the first thing. But when you're really stuck in trauma as well, like I said earlier, ask yourself how you feel. And why are you attracting this? Is it serving you? If it is, great, then continue being where you are. But I doubt it is serving you. It is teaching you something. There are lessons within every experiences. And that's what we should come to understand. I think many people don't see it because we just react. We react. That's what we do, rather than just sit with ourselves and say, okay, how can I move forward from this point on? Because what happened in the past is not important. What's going to be in the future, that's of a later concern. But we can create in the present moment. So at any point in time, you can create a better life. Now, whether you choose to heal or not is entirely up to you. But as I always say, if you don't heal, how can you ever love yourself? And if you can't love yourself, if you can't hug it out with yourself and embrace yourself, how can you ever heal?
Exactly true. That's very, very true. 100 and 500% true, I would say. So yeah, and great. And as we conclude this captivating episode of Healthy Mind and Healthy Life, I want to extend my deepest gratitude for Birgitta for sharing her extraordinary journey and the insights into embracing the art of living, returning to the authentic nature, and overcoming the adversity. So, through her story, we have been reminded that life's symphony is a complex composition of both bitter and sweet notes. And
Yeah.
it's our ability to dance to its rhythm that truly defines our journey. So her unwavering commitment to the authenticity and healing serves as an inspiring testament to the resilience of the human spirit. So we have also explored the transformative power of embracing the authenticity, the importance of healing and self-discovery, and also the role of the inner alchemist in our personal growth and well-being. So her wisdom has illuminated the path for those seeking to reconnect with their true essence and the purpose. So if you have found today's episode and as enlightening as we did, so we encourage you to share it with others who may benefit from Victor's insights on living authentically and navigating life's challenges with the grace. So Healthy Mind and Healthy Life is committed to providing you with inspiration and wisdom to enhance your well-being, and today's conversation with Birgitta has certainly added to that mission. So once again, I'm your host Avik, and I thank you all for joining us. And as we continue our journey through the tapestry of life, may you find the courage to embrace your authentic nature, dance to the rhythm of your own existence, and uncover the transformative power that resides within. So stay tuned for more enriching episodes that empower you to cultivate a healthy mind and lead a life of purpose and the authenticity. So thank you for being a part of this community. And until next time, remember that the life is a symphony and you are the conductor of your own masterpiece. So thank you so much.
Can I say one more thing?
Yeah, definitely.
I was just going to say to people, but this is a quote that's very well known, everything lies on the other side of fear.
Yeah.
But the most important thing is be who you are, not who the world wants you to be. So be true to you.
Exactly. That's a great great saying, I would say. It's a great thing, and we all should follow this because this is very important. So thank you guys for joining us, and it's a great pleasure to connect with Birgitta, and I really loved it. Hope you all liked it as well. Thank you so much.